a covert answer to his seeking came. In a far shimmering background of mind space, a glowing mouth was seen, a luminous shaft. A recluse gate it seemed, musing on joy, a veiled retreat and escape to mystery. Away from the unsatisfied surface world, it fled into the bosom of the unknown, a well, a tunnel of the depths of God. It plunged as if a mystic groove of hope through many layers of formless, voiceless self to reach the last profound of the world's heart, and from that heart there surged a wordless chord, pleading with some still impenetrable mind, voicing some passionate unseen desire. As if a beckoning finger of secrecy, outstretched into a crystal mood of air, pointing at him from some near hidden depth, as if a message from the world's deep soul, an intimation of a lurking joy that flowed out from a cup of brooding bliss. There shimmered, stealing out into the mind, a mute and quivering ecstasy of light, a passion and delicacy of roseate fire. As one drawn to his lost spiritual home feels now the closeness of a waiting love, into a passage dim and tremulous that clasped him in from day and night's pursuit, it travelled led by a mysterious sound. A murmur, multitudinous and lone, all sounds it was in turn, yet still the same. A hidden call to unforeseen delight in the summoning voice of one long known and loved, but nameless to the unremembering mind. It led to rapture back the truant heart. The immortal cry ravished the captive ear. Then, lowering its imperious mystery, it sank to a whisper circling round the soul. It seemed the yearning of a lonely flute that roamed along the shores of memory and filled the eyes with tears of longing joy. A cricket's rash and fiery single note, it marked with shrill melody night's moonless hush, and beat upon a nerve of mystic sleep its high, insistent, magical reveille. A jingling silver luff of anklet bells travelled the roads of a solitary heart. Its dance solaced an eternal loneliness. An all-forgotten sweetness sobbing came. Or, from a far harmonious distance heard the tinkling pace of a long caravan, it seemed at times, or a vast forest hymn, the solemn reminder of a temple gong, a bee croon honey-dung in summer isles, ardent with ecstasy in a slumberous noon, or the far anthem of a pilgrim sea. An incense floated in the quivering air, a mystic happiness trembled in the breast, as if the invisible beloved had come, assuming the sudden loveliness of a face, and closed the glad hands could seize his fugitive feet, and the world change with the beauty of a smile. Into a wonderful bodiless realm again, the home of a passion without name or voice, a depth he felt answering to every height, a nook was found that could embrace all worlds, a point that was the conscious not of space, an hour eternal in the heart of time. The silent soul of all the world was there, a being lived, a presence and a power, a single person who was himself and all, and cherished nature's sweet and dangerous throbs, transfigured into beats divine and pure. One who could love without return for love, meeting and turning to the best the worst, it healed the bitter cruelties of earth, transforming all experience to delight. Intervening in the sorrowful paths of birth, it rocked the cradle of the cosmic child and stilled all weeping with its hand of joy. It laid things evil towards their secret good. It turned wrecked falsehood into happy truth. Its power was to reveal divinity. Infinite, co-equal with the mind of God, it bore within itself a seed, a flame, a seed from which the eternal is newborn, a flame that cancels death in mortal things. All grew to all kindred and self and near. The intimacy of God was everywhere. No veil was felt, no brute barrier inert. Distance could not divide, time could not change. A fire of passion burned in spirit's depths, a constant touch of sweetness linked all hearts, the throb of one adoration's single bliss in a rapt ether of undying love. And in our happiness abode in all a sense of universal harmonies, a measureless secure eternity of truth and beauty and good and joy made one. There was the welling core of finite life. A formless spirit became the soul of form. All there was soul, or made of sheer soul stuff. A sky of soul covered deep soul ground. All here was known by a spiritual sense. Thought was not there, but a knowledge near and one, seized on all things by a moved identity, a sympathy of self with other selves, the touch of consciousness on consciousness, and being's look on being, with inmost gaze, and heart laid bare to heart, without walls of speech, and the unanimity of seeing minds in myriad forms, luminous with the one God. Life was not there, but an impassioned force, finer than fineness, deeper than the deeps, felt as a subtle and spiritual power, a quivering out from soul to answering soul, a mystic movement, a close influence, a free and happy and intense approach of being to being with no screen or check, without which life and love could never have been. Body was not there, for bodies were needed not. The soul itself was its own deathless form, and met at once the touch of other souls, close, blissful, concrete, wonderfully true, as when one walks in sleep through luminous dreams and conscious knows the truth their figures mean. There, where reality was its own dream, he knew things by their soul and not their shape. As those who have lived long, made one in love, need word nor sign, for the heart's reply to heart, he met and communed without bar of speech with beings unveiled by a material form. There was a strange spiritual scenery, a loveliness of lakes and streams and hills, a flow, a fixity in a soul space, and plains and valleys, stretches of soul joy, and gardens that were flower tracts of the spirit, its meditations of tinged reverie. Here was the breath of a pure infinite. A fragrance wandered in a colored haze, as if the scent and hue of all sweet flowers had mingled to copy heaven's atmosphere, appealing to the soul and not the eye. Beauty lived there at home in her own house. There all was beautiful by its own right, and needed not the splendor of a robe. All objects were like bodies of the gods, a spirit symbol, environing a soul, for world and self were one reality. Immersed in voiceless internatal trance, the beings that once all forms on earth sat there in shining chambers of spiritual sleep. Past were the pillar posts of birth and death. Past was their little scene of symbol deeds. Past were the heavens and hells of their long road. They had returned into the world's deep soul. All now was gathered into pregnant rest. Person and nature suffered a slumber change. In trance they gathered back their bygone selves. In a background, memories foreseeing muse, prophetic of new personality, arranged the map of their coming destiny's course. Heirs of their past, their future's discoverers, electors of their own self-chosen lot,